Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, today I have for you a rather large tank, the Type 99A, which if you have spent any time on AliExpress in the last quarter of 2024, you probably have seen this. Now, I don't know who the manufacturer is on this, but we'll get into a little bit more of that later. But it's going to be the usual story. It will be a 60-second speed build, some pics, and then we'll get into the review. So, let's crack on and build. Welcome back. Right, this thing now, before we get on to the usual format, that was, as I said, was originally supposed to be the RC version. Now what actually happened was I ordered it, I paid for the RC version. When it arrived, it didn't have the motors or the battery in, which is not always unusual. I've had them arrive separately in the past before. However, there was no further tracking information, and when I contacted the retailers, they basically wouldn't send me the battery or the motors and wanted the model back. Now, as the postage to send the model back was a considerable proportion of the price of the actual model, I'm not going to do that. So just bear that in mind when you order from some of these retailers. When it goes right, that's fantastic, but when it goes wrong, it can be very difficult to get things sorted out. So obviously I kept to this, and as I don't know the manufacturer, I have just put down the retailer's name, which appears on the thumbnail. Now, the instructions. So there's nothing on here or in here that gives me a clue about who the manufacturer is. I'm sure somebody will probably recognise it and go, oh, that's such and such. Well, if you can let me know, that'd be fantastic. It's not the usual suspects. It's not your Slubins, it's not Jonquan, Rio Bricks. Don't think it's Semba or Range. Who else it could be, I don't know. But the instructions themselves, while they don't contain any extra information, which is a bit of a shame, they are pretty good. They're very clearly defined, for instance, where the RC instructions are as to where the normal instructions are, so you don't get mixed up at all, which is good. And it proceeds at a fairly logical, consistent rate. So even if you only have time to sit down for an hour or so at a time and do a few bits and pieces, you do notice a progression, which is, I think, quite important, especially with a big model like this. Excuse me. Yeah, as I say, you need to get that progression. But yeah, they will do the job, certainly. Now, there was no discoloration, no warpage. I have two bits missing. you're able to see on the side here where these side skirts attach. You see I've got connections there. I am missing one connection that will go into that. Now I'm also missing exactly the same piece that would have gone into the mud flap at the front. However, I did have a spare to actually put in there so I could finish that, and that one at least isn't it doesn't directly impact the model, so you can continue with it. So obviously another thing to bear in mind, this is quite weighty as well, I have to say. And one of the things that surprised me when this came through was the sheer quantity of minifigures with it. I actually have 8, so 2 in the turret there, and then I have another 6 here. They're all identical with the exception of some of the arms, but yeah, I think it's the most I've ever had on a particular model. Now, as far as accuracy goes, it's pretty good actually. I can't lie, it's very well detailed. A huge amount of stickers with it, and I mean a huge amount. Over 100 stickers go on this thing, and while I may not particularly like the digital camo effect on this, it is legit. That's what the Chinese did. I don't know if they still do it, but they certainly did it for quite a while. And funny enough, it's one of those things. I'm not usually a fan of a huge amount of stickers, and I got about a third of the way through, and I thought I'm tempted to stop because I thought that's enough. Any more is going to overpower it and be a bit like, whoa. But I thought, no, it's you know, these stickers are here for a reason. Let's pop them all on, then you know I can decide whether I think it's a bit or whether I think it suits it. And actually, considering the amount of stickers that go on this, I do think that it looks okay, which is surprising to me, as it probably is to you guys. It does look better with them than pretty much any flat surface, and even some non-flat surfaces do have stickers on there. So there we go on that. Now there are one or two things I don't like about this. The turret movement is one of them. It's odd because you can see it jumping up and down there as you turn it, and there's no, I don't understand the reason for that. It's one of those, it's unusual in that I can get the turret off and just ping the it's unusual in that it does have the spike goes in it, and I've taken out all the RC gubbins there, so it should rotate a little easier than it actually does. But while I've got that off, might as well take off the rest of the bits and pieces that come with this. If I can work out a way of doing this, you do get access in here to a driver's compartment. This part does come off, he says. There we go. So it's actually one of the strongest mountings for a turret that I've seen, and yet it won't, it just catches on everything. And also, what is quite nice is that's one of the best engines that I have seen in a model, or depiction of an engine anyway. It's very good. Although one thing I found was that when you build the engine, when it says to insert it in here, it wants you to put 2 1x1 plates, sorry, 4 1x1 plates on each corner of the plate that you build the thing on. If you do that, you can't get this back on properly. It will it pivots on, hits something and pivots, and you can either have it down, fitting at the back, or you can fit it at the front. It won't do both. So just by taking those, it still fits in there absolutely fine now. Now I've taken those bits off, as you can see, goes back in very nicely and flush. But yeah, it's something. This plate is not quite right for the turret itself, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go. Let's pop that back on. With the exception of the usual suspects on the top, these bits, and obviously I've just pinged off the aerial somewhere. Apart from those bits being a little fragile, and you say very easy to ping off, the rest of it is not bad at all. Actually, it's relatively solid, which is quite nice. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with this. Now, as I say, I paid for the RC version. That was the £31.91, which I thought was really excellent value. I don't know how much the non-RC version was. It was obviously cheaper than this, and would have been under £30. And I have to say that had I not paid for the RC version, had I paid for the normal model and I had paid £31.91 for this, I would be very happy with this. I think you get quite a lot of tank. It's also one of the biggest tanks that I've got here. It's bigger than the Challenger and the Abrams X, at about 40 centimeters long on the body. So yeah, I'm a little, it's slightly annoying that I've got a really good tank. It wasn't the tank that I ordered, and I paid a little bit more than I would have done for this particular tank. However, the tank I have got is a good tank, and at £31.91 is still good value for money. And the tracks, actually the tracks are very good indeed on this. So there we have it. We have the Type 94, the mystery Type 94. Type 94 is the submarine. We have a mystery Type 99A, who's, manufacturer, I don't know. I'm sure you guys will tell me. But there we go. That's the review today. So hopefully you've liked this review. If you have, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you again. You take care. Bye bye.